Hi, everyone. It's your friendly neighborhood coach, Jason. Today, we're talking about why it's hard to leave your long term relationship and why you should do it anyways. I'm Jason. I'm your friendly neighborhood relationship coach. I just want to help you out. So, the number one reason that it's hard for people to leave relationships is actually safety. Yes, we're talking about your physical safety, your financial safety, your emotional safety, and your spiritual safety. Many people literally are in situations where they don't feel like if this relationship ends, that they will be in a space where they're safe. So the reason you should leave anyways is you're not actually safe if you're in the kind of situation where being with your partner is unsafe to leave. If that's the case, you need to get the help that you can to get out now. And I am talking about if you're in physical danger, you need to get the help that you can to get out. I know that's not as easily said as done, but it's something you absolutely need to do because if you're not safe to leave, you're not safe to stay. And eventually that partner is going to endanger your life, or the stress of being in that relationship is going to endanger your life. So that's number one, the physical safety. Financial safety. If you are with someone and you are at risk of being financially unsafe if you leave, it's probably true that you're financially unsafe if you stay also. The thing that I would encourage you to do is to look at your finances and start making a plan so that you can be safe to leave. If that means you have to start opening an account in somebody that you trust's name, or somewhere that your partner can't see it, and you need to start putting aside the money that you will need to leave, then that's what you have to do. That's drastic. And the lower version of it would be to make sure that you do the numbers. Are you going to be okay after this relationship ends? Are you going to have enough to pay for rent, food, your car, if you have kids to take care of their needs also? My suggestion is that you get somebody that you can trust or yourself and actually go through the numbers. What do you make? What do you need? Not what are you spending right now, but what do you need if this relationship ends? What are you going to need after the relationship ends so that you can be in a space where you are safe and well taken care of? I know it's tough, but going through this exercise puts you in a place where you can put your mind at ease, or you can make a plan so that you can put yourself in a better position once the relationship is over. As far as your emotional and spiritual safety are concerned, we'll talk about it a little bit in the next section, but the bottom line is feeling unsafe, if there's no tangible reason that you can see that you're unsafe, is still something that matters a lot. If you feel unsafe leaving your partner just because you don't know how you're going to live without them, but they're terrible and being with them is damaging to your emotional health, it means that the thing that you need to do is to build the support, to build the community that you will need after you exit that relationship. Now, a lot of people get into relationships and they make their partner into everything, especially if you're in any kind of abusive or unhealthy relationship. Your partner has probably gone out of their way to isolate you and make sure that they are your only source of relationship. So the thing that you need to do is start building up who will be your community after the relationship. You can look at volunteer organizations. You can look at some religious organizations, although I'll get into why you should be cautious about even those things, because trustworthy people have to prove that they are worthy of trust. The thing that I would do is see what you can tell people and how they react. Don't give them all of your information at once. Many people will immediately jump into savior mode, and they might actually inform your partner who you're already unsafe with about what you're trying to do. So if you're not feeling safe, be cautious about who you talk to, but find the right people that you can talk to create the community you need after the relationship. The second reason that a lot of people find it difficult to leave is a bunch of things that I'll group together: your narratives about yourself and about life, your hopes, your beliefs, and your plans for your relationship. You spent years, even before you got into this relationship, thinking about what it was going to be like when you were married. And for most people, an exit strategy was not part of what they thought about. They really did want to be in marriage forever. Most people who set up to get married are really trying to get on the till death do us part. And we mean it. So when we start thinking about leaving, we really feel like we're breaking something inside of us. And the truth is, we are. The reason you should leave anyways, if things are terrible and you have come to the conclusion that you need to leave, you actually might need help rebuilding those narratives. The narrative you have about yourself, for example, is that you are a good person, you are a good parent, you are a good partner, you're a good child to your parents, you're a good community member to your faith group. And you might be telling yourself that if you leave, that makes you a bad person instead of being a good person. But I'm here to tell you that if you're in a relationship where being with that person is damaging, then none of those things are true. And we need to work through all of those narratives and beliefs. I'll get to plans in a second. Working on your narratives and beliefs is often something that you need to work through with a person who is trained to help you work on that. I would actually suggest speaking to a therapist, a social worker, or someone who's trained a coach who is actually trained to understand the difference between a narrative and a reality. So if you're telling yourself, I'm a good I'm a good partner and a good partner doesn't leave a relationship. That is not true if you and if you have kids are not safe in that relationship or healthy in the relationship. If you're telling yourself you're not a good parent if you end the relationship, that is not true if you're in a relationship that is unhealthy for you or the kids. If you're in a relationship that is very unhealthy for yourself, the bottom line is you can't be a healthy parent and be in a relationship that's unhealthy for you. You're giving your kids an example that you don't want them to follow when they grow up. And your best bet would be to get out. Your kids are seeing you and they're learning from you. So if you need to move forward and not be in that relationship, whatever you need to do that is the thing you need to do to be a good parent. Your plans. Like I said before, you've been making these plans probably since before you even got in the relationship. And now you're here and your brain has all of these plans, plans about retiring, about getting old together, about traveling together, about just the rest of your life. And you need to start making a new plan if you're leaving. You need to work on that plan because otherwise the grief will freeze you. The grief, the idea of leaving your partner will freeze you and keep you from doing the thing that you need to do to be healthy. Now, that said, you would need help working on new narratives. If your relationship is currently unhealthy and you want to improve the relationship, you need to work on the narratives and plans that you have for the relationship because it's not working. And doing the same thing is not going to make it better. All relationships go through ups and downs. That's normal. Being with someone who refuses to work on the relationship is not normal and healthy. If that's where you are right now, then you need to make a plan that doesn't include the other person. If you're with someone who wants to work on the relationship, then you need to make a plan together to change what you're doing in the relationship so that it can improve. Last but not least, one of the really tough reasons for people to leave is your family and friends. When I say your family, I am including your parents, I'm including your kids, I'm including your friends, your mutual friends. There's a lot of loss if you end the relationship. You're looking down the barrels of, well, who do I keep and who do I leave? Who won't be my friend anymore? Who has to pick sides? I'll do the simpler one first. Your friends are going to be your friends, and you will find out through this process who is really your friend or not. Some of the people that you think are your friends are not your friends. If you getting divorced or separated ends the relationship, those people were not your friends. They were acquaintances, and you've been calling them friends. What you want to do is find your community, as I said earlier when we were talking about your narratives and finding safe people and actually being safe. You want to find your community. You want to find who is safe for you to talk to and who you can rely on in your life going forward. More difficult is your family. It is legitimately tough to make the decision to terminate the relationship. If you've been with someone long term and you love their parents, you love their siblings, you love your nieces and nephews on their side of the family. Now, not every time are you going to lose all of those relationships, but it's going to affect those relationships if you get separated or divorced. But we're back to your safety. If you are in a place where you're in an unhealthy relationship. You can't stay in that relationship for your in laws that you love. You can't stay in that relationship, like I already mentioned, for your kids. It's not healthy for the kids to see you being miserable, maybe fighting, whatever's happening between your partner and you. It's not healthy for the kids to see it. And frankly, you're probably deceiving those family members and friends that you say that you love. You are probably not showing them what's actually going on in your relationship. And you might have embraced a narrative that's common in my community where you don't talk about your family business in the street. But what you've done is you actually don't talk about your family business even with family. Your family doesn't know what's going on. And if they did, they would act differently. But that said, you want to be in a place where you can be healthy, and you can't do that by staying in the same relationship. Sometimes when people set out to separate or divorce, they do end the relationship that they're in and they get back into a new relationship, hopefully not the same relationship, with the same person. People recover from cheating and all kinds of things. But that said, they don't do it and have the same relationship that they had before. They have to forge a new relationship together, both people. So either way, if you're in a relationship that's unhealthy, yes, it's tough. Yes, there's a bunch of things that you need to do, and you need to start making a new plan. You need a new relationship in order to be healthy. Those are the reasons I can think of as to why it's very difficult to leave a relationship and why you should anyways. If you have any questions or you want to talk about it, let me know. I'll leave my email below and you can contact me. Take care.